Welcome to the Dream Life is Real Life podcast with your host, Hannah Hermanson, bringing you real life stories of people who realized their dreams to educate and inspire you to create your legacy of abundance now.
Hello, everyone. Hannah here, and we are back today with Gena Jaffe. Gena is a sparkly lawyer, fitness coach, and mom, aka the Legally Fit Mama. She provides easy-to-use DIY legal templates for online business owners and runs online fitness programs to help others feel better in their body and minds. But her favorite job is being a mommy, so working from home, she gets to be with her son, and she is eternally grateful for that. Gena, thanks for taking a little time away from your son to join us today.
No problem. How are you?
I am so excited. I mentioned to you when we were chatting before that I heard you on the Marketing Made Easy podcast with Amy Porterfield and learned so much about the legal aspect of running my own business. So I'm so excited to have you on and continue learning from you.
Oh, good. Thank you for having me.
But before we dive into the super exciting legal template conversation, tell us a little bit more about you and how you got to be where you are now as the sparkly boss mom.
Yeah, so 5 years ago, I was a corporate lawyer in New York City and never envisioned having my own business. It just wasn't something I ever thought of. You know, my family is working class. And so for me, it was kind of like you work until you can retire and live off your 401k. Like that's all I knew. Mm-hmm. But that summer, I met my now wife, who has been an entrepreneur her whole career. And at the time, she was doing business coaching and said to me, have you ever thought about having your own business? And then I brushed it off and I was like, no, absolutely not. But as I saw the lifestyle that she was leading and meeting all of these other incredible women who were running their own businesses, because we lived in New York City at the time, so we were surrounded by all these amazing people, I kind of saw a possibility for me to be able to live a life that I could design, as well as helping people with the legal side of their business, which is something that is so important, but also something that people tend to ignore or put off to the side. Mm-hmm. So, and I know that there weren't a lot of lawyers doing what I was doing. So there was like a really great market opportunity for me to kind of jump in and help people in that way. So pretty quickly, I took that leap and quit my job. So it's been almost 5 years since I started my legal business.
I love the way that you got into entrepreneurship. I think that the lifestyle is, it's enticing, but really you knew that you had a value that good people needed and you could help them out. And so often people ask me, like, what should I offer? What should my business be? And it's like, well, what do people need? And what can you help them with?
What do you love?
Yes, right. And so now you are kind of blending your background in the legal world with this lifestyle by design. And who specifically do you work with now?
So I still work with female entrepreneurs who run online businesses. I do have some male clients as well, but my branding is a whole lot more geared to women. So for me, now that I've blended with this kind of fitness coaching, I work with a lot of moms, as well as a lot of women who suffer from anxiety and depression. It's something that I talk a whole lot about. And so with the fitness side of my business, it's really helping people to manage their mental health, and also to start a business as well, because there's a business piece, a business building piece to that business as well, to help others build, a similar business. So, I am still helping people who have online businesses, who want to be entrepreneurs, who want to find that freedom and flexibility and happiness, whether it's through me helping them build a fitness business or me helping them with the legal documents that they need for the business that they already have.
This is so interesting to me because I have a lot of conversations with people who have their own business, and it always seems to come back to health and wellness, mindset, and like helping people just feel connected. Whether you're a business coach, a legal, handing out templates, or you do fitness, it's just really interesting to me how so many of the conversations I have come back to those basics of like mindset and feeling healthy and secure in
it's everything.
Your business. Yeah.
you know?
And that's something that you see coming up a lot in both the legal and the fitness work you do?
Oh, it's everything. I mean, for the legal work that I do, a lot of the reasoning why people want the legal protection, not only because you should have it in because sometimes it's legally required in different pieces of your business, but because it makes them feel better. It makes them feel more protected and secure and safe, and knowing that they can spread and share their beautiful, wonderful gifts with the world, knowing that it's going to be protected when they share it. So it's just a lot of comfort that comes with the legal protection. And, mindset is so big. If you already know going into sharing an offering that you feel really good and secure, having the legal docs in place to protect your income, protect your brand, knowing that the information your clients give you is also secure, you're going to put yourself out there a whole lot differently than if you have fear in your marketing, right?
So true.
And so that's the same with my fitness and wellness business. It's people who are struggling mentally, physically, and when you take that step and you take that leap and take better care of yourself, you show up as a different person. So it's really cool to be able to see how mindset plays a piece in so many different parts of every part of our lives, but I get to see it from a business point of view in two different ways.
Yeah, I do feel like so often, whether it's the legal tools or having a team or having some clients that are getting amazing results, there's something about having things in place, like that that blanket of comfort that you can go back to, and like you said, then unveil yourself in bigger ways. So I'm totally vibing with you here. I'm curious, if we were eavesdropping on your conversations, or maybe your Alexa in your house, what do you find yourself saying the most to your clients? Maybe it's a legal tip, maybe it's a mindset thing, but what do you feel like you keep coming back to in your work?
That small, consistent actions have huge effects over time. That everything that you're doing in life, whether it's fitness or starting a business or personal development, it takes time. It's a marathon and it's not a sprint. And so I get that from I read The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson, which is an incredible book. If you haven't read it, pick it up now. That's really what he talks about, that the actions that we take, these tiny, seemingly insignificant actions that we take every single day, is going to have huge dividends down the line. But because people don't see results quickly enough, they stop doing it. And that's really where the work starts, when you want to stop. So that's what I tell people when, I'm not losing the weight fast enough, or, I'm not stronger than I was before, or I'm not getting as many clients as I thought I would. You just got to keep going. This isn't, business life, nothing happens overnight. It's all about just showing up and being consistent and just doing the work every day, even if you're not seeing the results that you want, because down the line you will.
Yeah. And sometimes even if you don't feel like it, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. So I do want to get into some nitty gritty with you if you're up for that now.
Sure.
So when we hear that you offer DIY templates for entrepreneurs, tell us a little bit about what specific tools you offer these small business owners or online business owners, and why do we need them?
Absolutely. So I offer I think it's 20 different templates at this point, and bundles that range from client agreements to privacy policies to independent contractors, speakers, sponsor. If you're having a retreat, there's so many different aspects of our business that require legal protection. If you have a website, there are 3 different documents that you should have on your website to protect yourself. If you're working with clients, if you're getting paid by someone, you want to make sure that the money that you're making and the tools and tips and PDFs and downloadables that you're providing them, you want to make sure that that's protected. So, I offer a wide variety of templates for all the things that, I'd have to say almost all the things that online business owners could run into and need. And the reason I do it in template form is so that I can reach more people. So because they're DIY, the cost is a lot lower because it's not me trading my time for money. Right? It's me. I created these documents that are very comprehensive. The legal stuff is in there that you need. It's really about you saying to yourself, okay, how do I describe my program? What does it cost? Where am I running my business? It's filling in your specific business details that you would have to explain to me anyway. So it's a really great way to get the protection that you need in a lower cost offering.
Yeah. So, people that come to you are probably just starting out. They're looking for something to cover them without, having a whole legal team or outsourcing a bunch of stuff. But the people that do come to you are the people who need you. What are the biggest mistakes you see entrepreneurs making with their coverage?
Yeah. It's having no protection at all. People will say I've just so many times, I'm going to come back to you when I get some clients first. And I said, that's a mistake. You do it now, right? Because the second you get a client, the second you put yourself out there is the second you are exposing yourself to liability. And I don't use fear-based marketing. I find it to be icky personally. So I just tell people look, this is your security blanket. This is going to protect you when you put yourself out there. It's like having health insurance. You spend the money not anticipating getting sick or injured or needing to use it, but you have it just in case something goes wrong. And that's what this is here for. And it's also, in some aspects, in some ways, like a privacy policy on your website is legally required. You need to have it. So that's something that, I say to people look, this is legally required. It's not optional. Some other things people might view as optional. And that's okay. There are reasons why I tell people that you should have, a whole variety of documents, but, so people will just say to me, I'm going to wait a little bit until I make some money. And that's a huge mistake because I have had people come to me and say, X, Y, and Z went wrong. What can I do? And the first question I ask is, let me see your contract. And if they don't have one, then there's really not a whole lot that I can do.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely that preventative mindset and being ready, ahead of the curve. So, Gena, I have to be super honest, and maybe this is maybe we'll have to omit this part from the episode if this is going to get me in big trouble. I'm going to tell you though, when I started getting speaking engagements, and even when I sold my first course, I just asked other people, like my coach and someone I bought a course from. I was like, hey, do you mind if I adapt the contract that I signed for you? And I just made the assumption that they were legally sound people. But what do you say to that strategy?
So that's a no-no.
Okay. Am I going to get in trouble? Do we need to backtrack this?
You're not going to get in trouble. No, okay. A lot of people do that. Okay, why shouldn't you do that? Number one, it's actually violating the terms that person had with the lawyer that they purchased it from, right? So when you buy a document from me, let's say you buy a client contract, it says this is only for you. You can only use this for you in your business. So right there, that's violating that specific agreement. The other is that, yes, it might be legally sound in many ways, but it might not fit your business. There might be pieces that are left out because it didn't need to be in that person's contract. I have a couple different disclaimers that I have as options in my client contracts for people in different industries. So if you're in the health industry, you're going to have a little bit of some different language than if you're a business coach, right? Because you're going to talk about you not being a medical doctor or a psychiatrist, or that they should speak to a doctor before doing certain things, as opposed to as a business coach, it's saying that you're not a lawyer or an accountant or a financial advisor. So there's just a little bit of different language in there. Not to say that it can't protect you, but if you're going to have this business, if you're going to spend all of this time, money, and energy on your business, you should want to have something that is completely legally sound and is going to protect you specifically for the things that you're offering.
Yeah.
But I hear it a lot. I do. I hear it a lot. I'm like, I downloaded this off the internet, and I'm like, you know what? That's better than nothing. I'm glad you have something, but let's get you something that's right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's do it right. Let's do it right the first time, because the beautiful thing about the documents that I offer, they very rarely need to be updated. So if you buy them once, it's very rare that they need to be updated down the line. There was a new law that came out this year called GDPR. Yes. I don't know if you heard of it, or everybody, a lot of people heard of it. That did affect all privacy policies. So there was like a complete overhaul of privacy policies this year. I think the last time there was an overhaul of a privacy policy was like back in, I think, like 2013 or something like that, when there were changes in Canada. So like, it's rare that you would need to, it's not like every time you launch a course, you need to buy a new document. No, you just tweak the one that you currently have.
Love it. Yeah, it's like one of those things. Like, if you're going to do it right from the beginning.
Exactly.
Okay, great to know. Great to know. So now again, I say this a lot. Listeners are probably like, and she's shifting gears again, because I use that phrase a lot. But I think that, it's loud and clear that people will definitely need to check out the resources you have, and just, like we said, do it right the first time and protect yourself, especially online. So another thing I wanted to chat with you a little bit is something we mentioned in your intro, and that is working from home. And from what I can tell, both you and your wife and your son are home most of the time. Is that right?
Yeah.
And you used to work full time, and there are people listening who are, running their business from home, and then people who are transitioning out of their 9-to-5. So I'm super curious what lessons you've been learning over the past 5 years, moving from working in an office and now working from home. It's a topic I hear a lot about, and I'm super curious your perspectives.
Yeah. I mean, so much has changed working from home with a child, that, you have little pockets of time that you can work when you have a kid in your home, especially when, my son is 21 months now. So, up until he was 19 months, we were home with him 24/7. He goes to school a few hours a week now, just to give us a break, and also him some socializing. But, it's hard. Working from home before, I didn't find hard. I found it to be great, and I still do. And I'm still so grateful that I don't have to go to a job and leave him ever. Especially, last week he was sick. Now I have a cold, and we could just snuggle on the couch, and but it is about maximizing your time and being as efficient as you can when you do have a kid, or if you have limited time because maybe you have a full-time job and you need to get your time in. But the biggest piece that I've implemented this year consistently is self-care. When you're an entrepreneur, when you're running your own business, there's so much mindset stuff that come up, right? Like, all your demons hit you. You don't think you're good enough. You're not smart enough. No one's going to buy from you. Somebody says something yucky about you on the internet, just like things happen. And it's so important to make sure that you're taking care of yourself. You're meditating, you're journaling, you're working out, you're eating well. Sitting in front of a computer all day or sitting on your couch working all day, like, you can really lose track of time and lose a big sense of yourself, because you can always be working, right? Like, I'm always working. I work on my phone. So it's like, so I need to remind myself, okay, we need to put the phone down. We need to, there's no phones at the dinner table, no phones at all when we're eating, like, as a family. We try to set some boundaries. And then, being a fitness coach now, I work out every single day. And so I need to do that for my mind, even more than I do it for my body, just making sure that I'm taking care of my mindset. And, as I've shared, like, I'm very open about my struggle that I've had with depression, and I had postpartum anxiety. And so for me, working out is essential for my mental health and making sure that, like, I'm the best person, mom, wife, business owner, like all the things, making sure that I'm doing that, and reading personal development books.
Oh, so much. Yes. I I'm like fist pumping with you over here. When I was working 9 to 5, I was a yoga teacher and a spin instructor. And so I would walk in the morning and then stand up at my desk and then teach yoga at noon. And like, I thought working from home would give me the time to do all those things that you just mentioned, but I didn't prioritize them the same way I did when they were literally in my calendar, like a noon yoga class, a 5 p.m., And so I struggled for like the first year of my business working from home, prioritizing myself, and not just like snacking and doing laundry and sitting on my computer all day, which I found myself doing. So I love that, having those set aside times to no phone during mealtime. Like my workout happens every day, no excuses, because it made such a difference for me to like reclaim my me time, even when I on paper, technically it was all my time. But it was a startling adjustment for me. So we had a lot of similar realizations, I think.
Good. I'm glad you realized it. It took me some time. But yeah.
Yeah. And you shared so many good tips for those folks who are just squeezing in their work during nap time or have a lot going on.
Yeah, it's hard. It is. I get it. Especially I had a kid who didn't nap for a really long time.
Those are the amusing ones. Yeah.
Yeah. No, they're the adventurous ones. But yeah, no, you're a better mom when you take care of you, even if it's for 10 minutes. And that's what I found, that I tried to do everything. And I was the mom who carried and breastfed for a very long time. And so for me, I felt like I always had to be there and I always had to be on call. And I put him before me for a really long time and just backfired. It wasn't good for my marriage. It wasn't good for my sanity to do that.
Yeah.
But it's hard as a first-time mom.
Yeah. Or even, not to get too much into like women's, lifestyle topics. I'm reading this book though, Present Over Perfect. Have you heard of it?
I have heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So the author is just talking about whether you're a mom for the first time or the third time, or you have a business or you want to write a new book. Like we have this like cultural, historical tendency as women to put everything before our simple needs of like a workout or a meditation. And she offers a lot of insight into like, you just have to be present. It doesn't have to be about doing it perfectly, having a 2-hour morning routine and running marathons for yourself, but it's about finding those little things every single day, no matter what. So
absolutely. I love it.
Now we could just go down a whole nother.
Exactly. I know we could.
But yeah, maybe we'll save that for another conversation. But yeah, there's so many good books out there. And so I actually want to transition now into 3 last questions. I call this the pop quiz round. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. The first question is, what is something, we're starting to get into this, but what is something you would encourage listeners to do today to get closer to their dream life?
Yeah, I think that what you need is clarity of what that means. Like, what is your dream life? And being like super honest with yourself. Write it down. Like, no judgment. If you want to make $5 million, amazing. Write it down, what it is and why you want it. I think like being epically clear as to like what your goals are and why they're your goals without judging yourself at all. I think that that's the best place to start so that you can have a vision as to where you want to go.
Absolutely. A+. Number 2 is, what is a tangible resource you wish you could just hand every listener? Maybe it's a book that changed your life, or maybe it's one of your contracts. But what do you wish you could give everyone as a gift as they're striving to make their dream life their real life?
Yeah, I have to say I am obsessed with that book, The Slight Edge. That I recommend that book to everyone. Like, I was never a big personal development book person until recently, and this book is just, there's insane nuggets in like on like every page. I devoured this book, and it changes your perspective on a whole lot of things.
The Slight Edge. I have to admit, I haven't read it. Who's the author?
Jeff Olson, Olson.
Okay.
Yeah,
I have heard of him. All right,
so good.
I'll add it to my list. Thank you.
Amazing. Yeah.
Everyone else should too. All right. The last question, Gena, is where can people stay connected with you and learn more about what you're up to?
Yeah, no, I would love to hear from you guys. So I'm currently undergoing a major website rebrand that it's been working on it for a really long time. So I'm going to have a new URL, but everything will forward from my old one. So my website is geneviveshingle.com, and I trust that you'll have that somewhere.
Yes, we will link it in the show notes. And I love, you're Gena with a G. But yeah, we'll make sure that people can get to geneviveshingle.com.
Yeah, the new URL will be genajaffe.com. I've finally rebranded under my married name many years later. But
I always wondered how people did that. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. It was a thing, but it's also just shorter and easier just to do Gena Jaffe instead of Genevieve Shingle. So it's been a really long time in the making with this website. I'm very excited. It's going to be a blend of, the Legally Fit Mama will have all my templates. It'll have stuff about fitness and wellness and my mom blog. So everything will be combined on one site. I'm really excited.
So good. And yes, like we've talked about, definitely encourage listeners to go check out what she has for those DIY templates to protect yourself and keep living big dreams and putting yourself out there with having the right pieces in place.
Amen.
All right, Gena, thank you so much again for spending your time and sharing your wisdom with us. Listeners, we will be back next week with another inspiring guest to help make your dream life your real life. Until then.
You've been learning how to make your dream life your real life with Hannah Hermanson. To get the resources mentioned on today's show and to listen to past episodes, visit www.dreamlifeisreallife.com.